I gave you my heart.
Astyanax is definitely one of the hidden gems on the NES library, and I know there are the few that will disagree with me. But even though that I did find it difficult at times, with its Castlevania-like injuries that immediately bounce you back into certain death, or constant regeneration of enemies that just horde and surround you. The game itself is actually pretty enjoyable with a decent soundtrack and good graphics, and it's loosely based off the arcade version by the same name, where you play as somebody else not even named Astyanax and take on a war against all these demons to save your world. The real Astyanax is from Greek mythology, and he was the Prince of Troy that was given this name, and it basically roughly means the protector of the city. So I guess in a way, the arcade game kinda relates. Not really. And even the NES version has nothing to do with the mythology behind Astyanax or the arcade game. So let's slide this in the old NES love box and dive into it. The story goes like this. A fairy named Cutie transports a 16-year-old kid to another dimension to save a princess from being sacrificed by an evil wizard named Blackhorn, taking a long journey across this world to his castle, and thus starting our journey. The enemies really change very little and mainly consist of skeleton warriors, some weird one-eyed jellyfish floating creatures, a death plague that floats around, and some plants. Patience is the key to actually beating this game, but luckily we have sword upgrades and potions to max out your health. And the biggest thing is saving your spells. Do not use them at all until the boss battles. That is key in this game. It's the quickest and easiest way to beat them. Each mini-boss can be a little bit of a pain to beat, but there is a method to them. The slime monster and the golem are perfect examples, for instance. All it takes is a little finesse and knowing their patterns. You'll find that a lot of these bosses, even some of the main bosses, are fairly easy. But there are the ones that stick out that really just kills you. See, it's the bosses that really get you screaming, "Balls!" And there's a lot of them. So let's quickly go over a couple of them and hopefully you can take something from here that would help you. The first mini-boss is pretty easy. Just attack immediately when he turns into a ball. He'll be kind of stuck for a few seconds in one place. He can lay into your attack. The boss can be easily defeated just by using your spells, but you have to avoid wasting your spells at all times. I have not found any way to gain it back before you get to a boss. After a short little walk through plague and skeletons, the next boss really is just a short walk, and it's a slime monster who's pretty easy. You just attack and move back, and jump over him if he gets too close. Now we climb up the exterior of some kind of ruins. And it's pretty uneventful here. You do run into some enemies, some kind of slime creatures, but you can actually just walk around them and avoid them as well. And this is just to get to the mini-boss, which is a gargoyle. You just dodge his attack and hit him when you have an opening. This boss is Medusa. So you strike at the jewel on her stomach and turn around occasionally to kill the snakes. She creeps up from the sides of the screen, so you can slowly attack her and move back and get some good hits in. The next we're going to talk about this weird alien boss. You use your spells to break down his armor, but once his armor's gone, he's pretty defenseless and pretty easy to kill. Just dodge his bubbles and hit him. After storming through the stomps, killing lizard creatures, going through haunted cemeteries, fighting off skeleton warriors, you eventually get to the outside of the castle where you scale up to fight another mini-boss, which here is the Golem. The Golem isn't too bad. It's similar to the other ones. It just takes a little patience and a little bit of method. Now we're inside the castle, or at least part of it, and this place is just one big maze of doors. But you see, this puzzle is actually really easy to solve. The creators decided to put skeleton warriors in front of some of the doors. They only appear in front of the doors that you're meant to go into. You know, like how in Doom, when you start hearing the monsters, you know you're going the right way? After getting through the maze, you meet Thorndog and challenge him to a fight. He's not too hard to beat. Just make sure that you cut off his hand as soon as it reappears, and that prevents him from being able to do spells, dodge his bubbles, and attack his chest. Once he's defeated, you'll learn that killing him will kill you. Cutie sacrifices herself to save you and finish off Thorndog. Now comes the hardest part of this game. We now have to climb a tower and re-defeat every single mini-boss. And there's no upgrades, no health potions, nothing to help you in between. It's just an endless gauntlet of mini-bosses. And it will just slowly chip away at your health until you die. This is the most unfair, frustrating part of this game. Balls! 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 What a giant middle finger. You work your butt off to get this far and they're like, hey, no way, kid. Screw you. You don't deserve to see the end. But you know what, Jellicoe? I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. Die! Come on! Yeah! After getting through the tower, you face Blackhorn, and luckily you regenerate your health and spells. And you know what? If you screw up, it's back to the bottom. He's pretty disappointingly easy. All it takes is a few spells and a few swipes. Then, there's a giant dragon waiting for you. And he freezes you in place and throws fireballs at you that chase you. All you can do is dodge the fireballs and strike at the gem. I get it. Easier said than done. Finally, you save the princess. And then, you turn down a celebratory party in your honor. You wake up thinking that it was all just a dream, but when you're walking along a bridge, you run back into Cutie, who is now in human form. This is when you learn that the princess has brought her back to life as a human as a thank you to you and her for saving her world. But you know what? Compared to most other games and their endings, this one's actually pretty solid. At least after all your hard work, you get a hot fairy babe out of it. Hey look, that's it. If you enjoyed this kind of content and you want to see more like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an update. Share this video, and until next time, play games. Catch you later.
I gave you my heart.